Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folani. Okay, the impending local government council elections in Rivers State is going to be the subject of our discussion this morning. And our guest is Dr. Samuel Nwanosike, chairman of the Ikwerre Local Government area in Rivers State. Now, there are those who might think that the way I just introduced my guest might be a controversy because the Supreme Court has ruled, as we were talking about just before I came on air, that indeed let the situation be. And so that's where the title, official title of Chairman, Ikwerre Local Government Area, Rivers State is coming from. There are those who might address him as former chairman. But we were having a conversation, and he said that, well, anything you people like, you can go ahead and call us, but he's depending on the ruling of the Supreme Court. So off the bat, Dr. Nwanosike, off the bat, we can see that there are sort of controversies. By the way, Dr. Samuel Nwanosike is of the PDP in Rivers State. Good morning once again, sir.
Thank you very much, Uncle Yori, for having me. It's a
pleasure.
great opportunity of being in your show for the very first time.
No, we're delighted. Thank you very much, sir. So, look at that. I had to do that, introduction in that way because you know who are the two sides. Those that would want to refer to you as a former chairman, and as you've just told me, if we go by the Supreme Court's pronouncement, chairman, Ikwerre Local Government Area. Who are the two sides? And by the way, your party has served notice that it won't have, it won't be participating in the local government polls coming up. Talk to us about that whole scenario, if you will, Dr. Nwanosike.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I will start with the position of my party, the People's Democratic Party in Rivers State, as led by Chief Aaron Chukwuemeka, who was recently elected after serving as the acting state chairman of the party, and he did very well. And we, as delegates who participated in that Congress, believed in his capacity, and we gave him the mandate to properly manage the affairs of our party. And when we had our stakeholders meeting a few days ago, we came to the conclusion, it was an interactive section, that we cannot participate in shenanigans. Election is not a one-off event. Election is a process. And that process has a commencement date. And the commencement date, as we know, as enshrined by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the Electoral Act, says that for an election to happen, political parties must be given proper notice, which is the first point of beginning the election. And the Electoral Act, as amended recently, has said clearly that that notice has to be 150 days. And if you don't do that, then you are building something on nothing, and whoever is building something on nothing shouldn't expect it to stand. To even make the matters worse, a court of competent jurisdiction at the Federal High Court have said clearly that because these issues are not properly taken care of, that INEC should not submit or give to SEC. SEC, I mean, the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, the INEC register, which is one of the foundations for this election, because Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission has no database of its own. It relies on the database of the Independent Electoral Commission to know those who are qualified to be voters, eligible voters in the process. And so when the courts have said, don't give them that register because this ABCD wasn't done, and the court went further to say security agents, most importantly the police and other sister security agents, should not participate in that process, it means clearly that those who intend to continue with that process should follow the stipulated rules and regulations as enshrined in our constitution for an election to be considered to be credible so that we can participate. So the People's Democratic Party in Rivers State have come to say clearly that because these issues are the issues on ground, until they are dealt with, every other exercise that goes ahead to be carried out is a waste of effort, and it won't stand because you're building something on nothing. And talking about the issue of the judgment of the Supreme Court on the 11th,
yes.
The second question you asked, that said clearly that the caretaker committee is an aberration to law. It's surprised to say that as we speak in Rivers State, we still have men who parade themselves as caretaker committee chairmen. For us, we are young upcoming leaders, and we see what the laws of our land say. And when Supreme Court says from 11th of July, the decisions of the Supreme Court takes immediate effect. And if you get the certified true copy of that judgment, which your studio has a copy of, and read through, virtually all the lordships that gave the independent ruling made it clear to say that the tenure of a local government is 4 years. They also went ahead to say that the House Assembly has the right to extend the tenure of a local government in case that the state SIEC or River State Independent Election fails to conduct election as enshrined in the electoral and the laws of River State. That the House of Assembly has the right to extend their tenure by first 6 months, and if the opportunity does to present itself to conduct a proper election, that the House has the right to extend another 6 months, laying reference to that of the presidency, that in case the INEC fails to conduct election in the presidential election, that the National Assembly has the right to extend the tenure of Mr. President. So, going by that, the River State House of Assembly, as led by Martin Samehule, has seen these difficulties by the state government not being able to conduct the election, had extended our tenure to say, because we don't want vacuum in democracy, you people should please hold forth for us, because you're those closest to the people. You are not appointed, you were elected by the people. And the Supreme Court has vindicated that position. That's why we don't go about arguing with people who we are, who we are not. The law has said who we are, and we'll rest our case in that.
Okay, but I wonder, the stakeholders meeting that was conducted, hosted by the River State Independent Electoral Commission, didn't that do anything? Because when you sort of, quote unquote, sign out of the whole process, as it appears that the PDP is doing in River State, that could be very costly. Because if you didn't participate, then there's nothing to have a conversation about. You signed yourself out. So those two questions. One, didn't that stakeholders meeting conducted by the River State Electoral Commission, didn't it achieve anything? What were the problems with it? And the very bold, demonstrative action of saying that, you know, this whole election, if this is how it's going to be, just count us out. It's a move that it puts a lot at stake. Perhaps you'll agree.
No, like I said here, it's not only PDP that have said they are not participating. Other political parties have also said they're not going to participate, because if you look at the entire issues and incident that has just been happening a few days ago, you know it's just a joke. It's a joke that of a man who feels because he holds an office and he has an immunity, he can trample on the constitution of Nigeria and get away with it. The All Progressive Congress have even gone to court. They were even the one that went to court to say because proper notice was not given, that they are not going to participate in that, and that election cannot hold. It was the All Progressive Congress, APC, that went to court, not even PDP. So for us in the People's Democratic Party, whether you hold a stakeholders meeting or not, it is not the issue. First thing first, before, for instance, at the national level, before INEC would declare the election process, they will first give notice for the election. You know, Uncle Yori, that
5
notice kickstarts the process. That's what the Electoral Act says. And because Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission cannot act without INEC, because INEC is the foundation and the basic ground norm of every electoral process in this country, and because they will rely on the database of INEC to conduct the election, they are to obey the Electoral Act, which says you must give all political parties a notice of 150 days, which they had all opportunities to do, but they refused to do so. For instance, they are aware, going by the laws made by the Universal Assembly, when our tenure will elapse. They were aware, and they knew when to give the notice, because the former governor of Rivers State, Barrister Ezeboye Shewike, who is the FCT minister, at the twilight of his office, inaugurated, after assembly screened some qualified Rivers people, inaugurated and sworn in members of the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission. So they had ample time to say election notice is given at these days. Commencing from this day, if you check from the date of election, we have obeyed the Electoral Act of 150 days. So you can't just wake up and say election will happen because you saw that Supreme Court has given a ruling that the caretaker you wanted to use to manage the process and put your cronies, why you think you want to build a structure for yourself, has failed by the decision of Supreme Court. So you now hurriedly fix an election for 5th of October. Less than 2 months, 60 or 70 days notice. No, you've breached the laws of Nigeria. And whatever you do based on that, it can't stand. That is what we're saying, sir.
Okay. But how about the news item that Governor Fubara's loyalists are actually set to contest Rivers local government elections? But again, I don't understand that under APP. Give me your commentary on that.
Well, thank you very much, sir, for bringing this question. You see, for us, we don't consider what they are doing an electionary process. We see it as an opportunity for them to come to stage and join the bandwagon of those who are abusing Mr. President. Because if you go through one of the clips that I can see your studio being played, trying to play there, if you allow the voice of the man that spoke to be heard, you will hear him clearly call Mr. President all manner of name and saying to the entire world that they were deceived by the former governor of Rivers State to vote for a man who does not mean well for Nigeria, a man who has come to destroy the economy of this nation, that they will never be deceived again. If you give voice to this speech, Nigerians will hear what the man has said. You know, they are saying so because they are looking for an opportunity to gather. You know, before now, after the Supreme Court validated the victory of the governor of Rivers State, they had to go around the 23 AGA in the name of Thanksgiving. It was a laughable situation because those who were organizing the Thanksgiving were those that worked against the governor from emerging as governor. And for us, we don't want to dwell in that past because we consider it as a past, because it's not every business you venture into that you get benefits from. So we've moved on. So we consider this as not an election preparation. We consider it as an avenue for them to wake up and cast aspersion on Mr. President. And you see, God has a way of vindicating people. These are same persons that will come before some people and say, oh, we are loyal to Mr. President. We believe in the good work Mr. President is doing. But the Bible says out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth will speak. So the man that spoke is one of the closest persons to the governor. So he was speaking the heart of the governor by saying that Mr. President has failed Nigeria, Mr. President is not fit to govern Nigeria, and that they were deceived to vote President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the president of this nation. So it's not a problem. We want the entire world to see. But we know that we in People's Democratic Party in Rivers State, led by our leader Nwanosike, saw all the candidates that made themselves available in 2023 election, and we knew that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the one that has the magic to bring us out from the dungeon that we have gone to, caused by other administration, and today he has been vindicated because international communities are now trooping into Nigeria with investments. People are now falling on top of themselves to come into the same country people we are taking away investment from. Nigeria bonds are now being run after, like as declared by the Minister for Finance. We are happy to say that even the removal of the fuel subsidy from a very first day, that a lot of leaders were afraid to venture in the time past. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu took the bull by the horn to say, we will do it. And he did it. And he knew that removing subsidy will bring a lot of hardship. But for how long do we line other people's pockets and feed other close-by nation, and while we, who owns the resources, will die in poverty? So we commend President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the good work he's doing. And coming to your studio here, I was impressed to see that Abuja is now looking like part of the international cities all over the world that we visit. It's a wonderful one. It's a great one. So for us, this is not a preparation for an election. It's an opportunity to say the things that were in their heart, like they did during the End Bad Governance protest. They come, they tell Mr. President, oh, we are supporting you, but they come and tell the protesters that we will give you bread and water to continue protesting. You see, it is a man speaking from the two sides of his mouth. But every water will have its level. The day is coming. Every day the bucket will go into the well. One day the bottom of the bucket won't come up. That's what Bob Marley said. So, Uncle Yori, we are not worried about those gatherings because they are not known. Who is APP? APP has no councillorship seat in Rivers State before now. APP has nobody knows the party APP. They say they have gone to APP. It is a clear indication to show that, like they said, they are a movement moving to nowhere. Or for us, if they give the proper notice of election and we participate, they know we will beat them hands down, because People's Democratic Party that brought them to power is the first time a governorship candidate who now won as governor won 23 local government over 23 local government in Rivers State. No governorship candidate in the past has got that well. It is because of the good work of Nwanosike. The people of Rivers State trusted him, and they said, for the good work you've done for us, we will vote the person you have brought to succeed you, because we believe he will continue from where you stopped.
Okay. I have a caller on the line. Good morning. Well, we just lost that caller. One or two challenges with the phone. I'm sure that will be sorted out soon. Okay, so this question of, because I was going to ask you how much of a depth of a crisis you consider the whole situation. You've just spoken about the minister, former governor and minister of the Federal Capital Territory now, and the tension, the political tension between him and the governor leading to all of this. Do you think of this whole situation of how much of a danger is it, members of your party who seem to be identifying with this movement to APP? You've been speaking about it, and I have heard that all that you've said. You know, how much of a troublesome spot do you think it is? Because, as you've said, you're not the only party that has said it excuses itself from this election. The things are not going accordingly. But then there are those who are willing to take advantage of that. Let's say they go ahead. INEC by itself has announced that it is proceeding. It has actually set a date. So when people now begin to move within the law, we have a situation where, it is lawyers that are going to sort this out. It is lawyers that are going to sort this out. You yourself started off by saying that, look, the highest court in the land is the Supreme Court. This is its pronouncement. This is where we are. But INEC is also there. But I have a caller on the line. Good morning. Okay, you can see that we're having challenges with that as well. So go ahead and, relate to the question, if you will.
Well, INEC, to correct his statement, INEC has not been. INEC is not part of this process. INEC will obey the court of our land. It is the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission, RISEC.
Okay. Yes,
is,
my bad.
Controlled by the governor of Rivers State.
You're very, very correct.
That is going ahead.
My bad.
Going ahead because they say who blows the piper dictates the tune. The governor of the state is the one that controls the Rivers State Independent Electoral Commission. So whether he's ready to obey a ruling of courts is for us to see. We know he swore an oath to protect the Constitution and to treat all manner of men equally and to manage Rivers State according to the rule of law. But we are seeing clearly that it doesn't. Is like a man who does not respect court orders. But that's not a problem. Whether a man respects court order, there's always consequences for bad behavior at the appropriate time. So the point to state clearly is that we in the People's Democratic Party, we don't have a problem. If you say you've left our party, it's not the first time people are leaving our party. Uncle Yori, I want to draw your mind back. When we had a governor in the person of Rotimi Chibika Amechi, he left the People's Democratic Party and went to APC. As a sitting governor, the chairman of Governors Forum in Nigeria then, very powerful governor, he didn't bother us because we knew that Rivers State is completely People's Democratic Party. And so we proved that clearly that it's not the governor that's in control of the political phase or the political game in Rivers State at then. And in all election we went through, him leading the All Progressive Congress then, he lost in all. And so it's not a problem to us. There's no crisis. In fact, the fact now that scenario is repeating itself have shown clearly that we are going back to get properly prepared as a people. They said in our dialect that if a child that has no mother and father is around where a child that has mother and father is giving advice to his children, he just stays by the wall and listens because he will be the one at the end of the day to take advantage of that advice given to the other child and he will do better. So now that we know that we don't have the governor of the state, because by decision of asking his followers and all of them to go to APP, he has gone to APP. The remaining thing he's doing is trying to play the spoilers game with his Bauchi State counterpart, who has made it publicly clear that he wants to contest the 2027 election against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and he's doing everything in his power to lure the governor of Rivers State, Siminanalyi Fubara, to come and run with him as running mate, so that they can use Rivers resources and maybe some other state resources to come together to see if they can unseat President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But Nigeria has passed that stage. We have found in President Bola Ahmed Tinubu a man of competence and capacity. A man that says he will do A in the morning, he will do the A in the morning, that he will do B in the afternoon, he will do the B in the afternoon. That's the kind of leader Nigeria wants. We have seen leaders in the past. Leader who is ready to take a decision whether it's going to affect him or not. That is the kind of leader we want. So for us, we have no problem. The People's Democratic Party in Rivers State is bubbling, is intact, and is led by Ezeboye Sowike, a man that understands how to manage man and resources.
Okay. Yes. Although it must be vexatious, no doubt, politically, that we have the situation. Clearly, the whole the structure, is in the hands of former Governor Wike, as you had said, and people are willing to do his bidding. But His Excellency, the governor, the incumbent governor, is fighting back and has come up with this particular strategy. They say sometimes that when the elephants fight, the contenders, when they fight, it is often the grass that suffers. We're talking here about the right of the people to good governance. There are these big players that are, going hell for leather. But you said that the PDP is bubbling, that you don't have any problem. But how about the constituents, the good people of River State? Just now talk beyond the impending local government election. This has split up the populace, if you want, in River State. Do you have any commentary on that? Because the whole citizenry must be watching. Say, well, we sit down, they look, we'll see how all of this is going to work out.
Yeah, they said the judiciary is the hope of the common man. We can't take the laws in our hand, but like I've come to the studio this morning, that's the much we can do to educate our people who are watching and to tell the entire nation that this is where we are. That in River State today, we have a governor who is managing our resources without appropriation. Justice Omotosho, in his judgment, which has been further affirmed just recently by his brother judge, also in Federal Capital Territory here, in a case that APP themselves instituted. Justice Omotosho said clearly that the River State government has no 2024 appropriation or budget, if you might use the word, and that you cannot present a budget to a House of Assembly that does not exist. Because our governor is saying that he presented appropriation of 2024 to an assembly who do not know where they exist, and that a foreman who were suspended and one of them impeached from the House when they had their legislative crisis, because legislative crisis happens in democracy all over the world, including in Nigeria. So when legislators had their issues, the governor chose to go with 4 members rather than standing with 27 members. And
yes.
Justice Omotosho, his ruling said, it is wrong. You have no budget. Go and represent your budget to the proper House of Assembly. Yes. And the governor said he wouldn't do so. And as we speak, as soon as we got to 31st of June, from 1st of July, the life of the other budget died. 2023 budget had no life anymore. So the governor has been spending the funds belonging to River State right from 1st of July to date without appropriation. So for us, we are surprised that the entire nation is quiet and the treasure base of the nation is being destroyed. We have, by the statistics of an organization called Budget It, that River State has received from the Federation account funds well over 300 and something billion, second to Delta State. We can't see anything in our states as work done. We can't see. All we can see are projects initiated by the previous administration, which they are trying to complete. And so we just ask, will this not be part of our history, that a time came that a governor spent resources belonging to a state like River State without appropriation? Because if Justice Omotosho's judgment has not been appealed by the governor to date, and is still the ruling and the law of our land, why will the governor continue to take issues pertaining to the legislature to an unknown House of Assembly when a competent court of decision have said Martin Samewule is the recognized and authentic Speaker of the River State House of Assembly?
Okay, all right. Well, Dr. Nwanosike, we'll take a break now. Please stay with us. We'll be right back to continue the conversation. And apologizing to our viewers who, for some reason, as soon as they connect with us, it disengages. Please don't let up. We'd like to really hear from you. So do please try again, yet again, to reach us on the numbers indicated.